I started my first business in Germany in October 2017, and I was the first person of my family, of all of the generations, who essentially ended up starting his own business. All of the previous generations in my family who came before, either they were farmers or they were doing some other work. My father, he was a professor. He had no idea at all of business, and he rather considered business as something risky and not something stable. And this is something that most of the people who have a stable job or are in academia will always feel. So when I came to Germany and I started doing my masters, I came to this idea of actually starting my own YouTube channel. At that time, there was absolutely nobody who was talking about Germany as a higher education destination. So I started doing that, and I did it in a very structured way and in a way that was shareable for people, and people also enjoyed watching that video and also got a lot of information out of it. So the channel picked up, and after a while I decided, okay, now it makes sense to actually think about registering your business. But how do you do that? Because most of the advices that I was getting from other people who were also living in Germany, most of them were expats. They were like, yeah, just let it run over your parents' name or something like that. But you have to keep in mind that these kind of things are highly illegal in Germany. And I know some people who still do this, which is absolutely wrong. But some people do not understand any better. For us, that was not something that we were willing to take our chances on. So I was like, okay, from the very starting, when we do something, we do it right, so that there is no fear in the end of, okay, if we did something wrong and things like that. And that really panned out well, because there were a lot of things that happened, which I'm going to talk about in this video, which you should also keep in mind, so that when you're registering your business, you're 100% aware of what kind of things are going to come to you. And again, I'm talking about everything in this video from somebody who did not have generations of people who were having their own businesses, but the first person in my family who started his own business, so that you can have a completely beginner view of everything, of what kind of things you have to take care of when you start your business in Germany. The first thing that I want to talk about is, again, which I previously discussed, is do not do any of these illegal things. That is, just let everything run on your parents' name who are in India, in Russia, in Spain, whatsoever, in other countries. That is not legal. If you are performing a particular activity in Germany while you're living in Germany, so the place of activity is going to be, of course, Germany. So the business has to be registered there. You cannot do anything else. Very important thing. Many students I know who do these illegal things, and this is absolutely false. If you get caught there, the fines are very heavy. With this, I come to my next point, which is not knowing German. If you want to run your business in Germany, or you want to start your business in Germany, not knowing German is going to be very painful, because you are going to receive a lot of letters. And I tell you, the moment I registered my employee 2 in Germany, the amount of paperwork I started receiving, that was absolutely insane. And every single month you will receive one thing or the next from one kind of association and things like that. And that used to be just absolutely painful. Finanzamt will anyways send you every 1 month or 2 months some kind of document, some kind of more paperwork to fill out. So that is something that you also have to remember, that if you don't know German, it is going to be very difficult. Now, this thing can be mitigated by hiring a good lawyer or a good tax consultant who are taking care of these things for you. But again, just something that you should keep in mind, that when you're thinking about starting a business, at least have some German proficiency, because otherwise things are just going to be more difficult. The third thing that you should keep in mind is, when you're registering your business in Germany, get ready for a lot of paperwork, because that is going to come to you. In the starting, registering your business is very simple. So it just takes 5 minutes to go to the city center and register yourself there. Just 5 minutes, 20 euros, I think it costs, to do a Gewerbeanmeldung or business registration. And that's it. You have your business registered in Germany. Afterwards, you go to the Finanzamt, you will get the tax ID number, and with this, you will be able to write invoices to different kind of people, to other companies, and so on. So all of that is very simple, as long as you're a small business. From small business, I mean, you have a Kleinunternehmerregelung that you have to avail at the Finanzamt. With this, you cannot earn more than 22,000 euros in the first year and more than 50,000 euros in the next year. If you earn more than that, all of a sudden you are VAT liable, and then of course the paperwork becomes insane. But in the first 2 years or something, generally you do not have so much problems. The next point that I've written down here is not having a good tax consultant. And I cannot emphasize it enough, if you do not have a good tax consultant or a good lawyer or something. Lawyer is something that you will need later. Let's say you're having your business and like it's 3 years or something, business is growing and it's getting bigger and bigger. Then it makes sense that you talk to some lawyers in the vicinity so that they can also help you out with tax things in case like there are some kind of problems. It is very important because even if you're doing everything right, the German state, they have the desire of poking their nose every once in a while. So in those kind of scenarios, your lawyers are going to be very helpful. And a tax consultant, you have to start this research well in advance, at least 1 to 2 months in advance, because many of these tax consultants, they will take their sweet time in order to respond to you. And many of them will also not take any kind of complicated cases. Complicated case means having somebody who has their own business, because there they have to do different kind of declarations. The first declaration that they have to do is Einkommensteuererklärung or income tax filing. Second that they have to do is Gewerbesteuererklärung, and that is trade tax filing, something like that. Then another one that they have to do is the VAT filing. So all of these different things, when they have to do, for them, the work becomes a lot more, and they would rather have somebody who is just a salaried employee and he has some kind of extra expenses, and they will just rather have them instead of somebody who has a business. So for me personally, finding a good tax consultant was a huge problem, and I know a lot of people in Germany who also have problems in finding good tax consultants. So make sure that you have at least that thing to the side. These days there are also a lot better solutions available, so make sure that you are able to kind of avail them. Just make sure that you know everything, what kind of like, other softwares or something that you can use instead of like maybe having a tax consultant too, in case that doesn't work out. I would generally always prefer that you have some tax consultant who is competent, who is also willing to help you with the English-German translations in case you need it, and is also able to take care of the communications that you do with the Finanzamt on your behalf. The next problem that I see with many people is not keeping a track of deadlines. And again, I was also one of these people. When I was starting my business, I was like, okay, like the deadline is 10th September or something. Maybe I can also like, do it on 11th or 12th, like what will be a big problem. And even though I have studied in a German university, even though I knew how strict Germans are with their deadlines, but sometimes it is just not possible. Sometimes you're getting some late payments from some other companies, from some other clients and so on. So in those kind of scenarios, it is just not possible for you to do that filing in time. So in those kind of scenarios, I know that you start getting a lot of fines. I was receiving a lot of fines from Finanzamt, and that was also something which drove me in the end to no longer continue my business in Germany, because anyways, like we were getting hit with COVID. And along with COVID, Finanzamt is sending fines instead of thinking that, okay, like, people are having tough times right now. So for me at that time, it was like, okay, this is enough, because at the same time when Finanzamt is helping out other companies which are having 5 million euros of revenue and things like that, and is giving them free money, we are not even asking for any free money. I never asked for any kind of help from the state because business was running good. Why should I take money from somebody else's plate essentially at that time? But that is not what happened. Companies were absolutely happy to get free money from the state. And that was something like highly immoral. And I just did not see the sense of it. Like instead of somebody who's paying taxes to you, instead of helping them out, you're just putting more stones in their way, which was something that I absolutely hated. And that's why I also decided in the end of year 2020 that I'm not going to continue my business in Germany, because again, the business was growing really rapidly and it absolutely did not make sense if the state is putting so much problems in front of you that you continue your business there. So then I decided to do my business in Romania, and I'm very, very happy right now. It is going to be almost 1 year and I cannot complain about it. But to start your business, I think you will not find a better place than Germany, because the regulations in the starting are still very, very nice. You can really ease into starting your business. You have at least 2 years to set everything up, so that then you can decide, okay, does it make sense to continue it in the longer run or not? So something you should keep in mind. Another thing that I did wrong in the starting was not registering for VAT in the starting itself, because if you're registered for VAT, it avoids a lot of complications. So what happened in my case was I registered my business in 2017. I was under the limit 2018. I was under the limit 2019. I came over the limit of this Kleinunternehmerregelung, or the small business regulation. So what happened in that year was I had to pay the tax from 2019 itself, which was insane. Whereas they told me all of these things after I had the declarations filed for 2019, which happens in 2020. So around June 2020, I received a letter from the Finanzamt saying that I have to pay VAT on all of the money that I earned in 2019, which I did not charge VAT to people. So I had to pay that money from my pocket. And then also for the last 6 months of 2020, again, I haven't charged VAT to the people, so I have to take out the money from my own pocket. That was something that I found absolutely horrible. And this was also like one of the reasons which was like, this is unreal. Like, how can you tell me that I should pay 18 months worth of VAT in just 45 days? Where should I get all of that money when I haven't even charged other people that kind of money? So that was one of the problems. And I think that could have been avoided if I would have declared that I want to register for VAT from the very starting. So if you're into some kind of business where you will be getting a lot of supplies and you will be selling a lot of supplies to other people, then registering for VAT makes absolute sense and you should definitely do it. Yes, there's a bit more paperwork than from the starting, but it is better because you don't have any kind of these transition phases where you have to pay for VAT of the amount which you haven't even charged to other people. Next thing that I did wrong was not having separate private and business accounts and expenses. So whenever you're running a business, make sure that you get a separate business account. From that business account, you have no private expenses at all. You are not ordering pizza from there. You're not ordering some kind of like, holiday tickets whatsoever from there. No, you have a separate private account for that where you put the money, and from that you do your any kind of purchases whatsoever when you are going to the supermarket, things like that. Very important, because in the end, that is going to make any kind of paperwork much easier for you. I know now if I would have done this previously, it would have made my life so much simpler. And unfortunately I didn't. And now I have to file the taxes for 2020. And that is going to take a lot of work. Another thing that you have to keep in mind is the German Finanzamt can also start audits on you. For example, now I'm getting audited for the year 2019 and 2020 because I was having a lot of revenue. So my revenue from the year 2017 till 2020 have been multiplying by at least a multiplying factor of 3 to 5, which is not very common for many businesses. And as soon as they see that you're making a lot of money, what happens is they're going to start an audit and they're going to see all of your documents, all of your transactions. Now, for me, it was still a bit better because all of my transactions happen only online. I do not take any kind of cash whatsoever, which made the bookkeeping very easy for me because all I have to do is download some CSV files, download some Excel sheets, and I can send these documents to the people from the Finanzamt and they can take a look at that. But still, this is just an additional pain that you have when you are like, doing your business in Germany, because again, if you're doing your business in Germany, you have a lot of opportunities because there's such a huge population and people who have money to spend. So of course it is lucrative, but on the other hand, you have to keep in mind that these kind of paperwork, these kind of additional things can happen in Germany. Now, all in all, in the end of this video, I do not want to scare you from starting your business. I think starting your business is going to be one of the best things that you can do in your life. 100%, I have no doubt about it. And I'm always going to recommend to other people to start their own things because this is going to make you independent. This is going to help you learn things. But just keep in mind that when you're doing this, you have a lot more responsibility to take. And especially if you have a family or something, keep in mind that there's going to be a lot more work, a lot more sleepless nights, and you will 100% be working more than when you would be working just as an employee. 100%. There's not a single entrepreneur that I have met who is working less as an entrepreneur than he was working when he was an employee. You'll be working on the weekends, you'll be working at the night, you'll be working in the morning, you'll be working all the time. And this is definitely going to be the case for at least the next 4 to 5 years of your life till things settle down. And then you can decide to like kind of take a back seat and like, just do the maintenance work. So these are a few things that I wanted to share with you so that when you're registering your business in Germany, for which I have already made a video on my YouTube channel, you can take a look at the video. You will find the link for that in the description. You are going with complete confidence inside and you know what kind of things await you. If you have any kind of questions whatsoever, you can always book an appointment with me and we can sit down and talk about things. Thank you so much for watching this video and I will see you in the next one. Bye.